What is up, everyone? Welcome to episode 3 of the Underdog Sports Podcast. I am your host, Nolan Skeen, alongside Antonio Fiore and Sal Estrina. Gentlemen,
what's up, guys?
Good day.
How are we?
Great.
Not bad.
Exciting few days of sports.
I don't think Antonio's too happy.
Except for
exciting. What days are we talking about?
We'll just say in general, regardless if you're a Yankees fan or not. We'll just say in general.
Aroldis Chapman.
The worst slider I've ever seen in my life.
All right, so looks like we're gonna start.
Threw him a fat meatball.
Looks like we're gonna start with baseball. Would you like to take it away, sir? Since your team was the loser of the ALCS.
I mean, first, honestly, Astros are the best team I've seen this decade. They hit, and the thing is, my gripe with the Yankees for years has been,
why don't they go after pitching?
I'll get to that after. But the Yankees, like the past few years, it's like they try to hit the home run all the time. I look at them; they're swinging for the fences every time. What the Astros do, and they got guys that hit home runs, a lot of home runs, but they try and get hits. And when you try and get hits, the home runs will come. The Yankees, like, they get a guy on base, they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna swing my ass off. I'm gonna pull my head off of the ball, and I'm gonna miss it.
Edwin
Encarnacion. Gleyber Torres was doing that, and he was the hottest hitter all playoffs.
Well, when you constantly are hitting and there's two outs and the bases are loaded or you have runners on.
That's one thing that they love doing. They would love just striking out 2 times in a row. Some guy will get a double, someone else will walk, then the next guy comes up and strikes out.
Because they're all swinging for the fence.
Exactly. Gary Sanchez, swinging for the fences every time. He got that one hit. I don't know if the bases were loaded. There were a couple guys on. He got an RBI in the first inning, I think, or the second inning. But at that point, I'm like, all right, Gary, good. You went after a low pitch there. You lined it low to the ground and went right up the middle. But back to what you said about pitching. So this Yankees and Astros, like their young core, kind of came up around the same time. They both made the playoffs in 2015. That was before the Yankees kind of unloaded and got all their guys in. 2017 was when they were both back in the playoffs. And you see like the center of these teams, and the Astros, what they've done, knowing what they're capable of, is they've gone after those big pitchers, Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander, and this year, Zach Greinke.
Who the Yankees all could have easily signed or traded for.
And at the time when Garrett Cole was kind of like rumored to be connected with like the Astros and Yankees, I was kind of on Cole because he was one of those guys with the Pirates where he had a lot of wins, but his ERA was just...
I think something you can attest the Astros' success to is their pitching coach or pitching culture.
Oh, that too. Absolutely.
I'm not saying Garrett Cole wouldn't be the same pitcher if he went to the Yankees, but I think that whole organization knows what they're doing with their pitching staff.
I think so too, but like they haven't been afraid to be aggressive to go after these pitchers and not settle for the tier 2 guys. They're going after the top notch. Those 3 guys are aces in any staff.
I think what you've also seen with the Yankees too is a cultural acceptance to not have top tier pitching. I know. Like I think their whole game plan is we're gonna hit and we're gonna use our bullpen to get us
and
there.
They got out bullpenned.
Which their strong suit was supposed to be their bullpen, and obviously
it was still really good, but Ottavino didn't perform.
Ottavino had a very bad series, and when Chapman came in, you would just expect him to bring that to the 10th inning, and he threw Altuve one of the worst pitches I've ever seen. And then he was smiling too. Did you see that? They pan to him, and he's just sitting there with a big grin on his face.
He obviously wasn't happy. I think
he wasn't happy.
I think he's just in disbelief.
Yeah, it was
I used
more
to do
of
that.
like a wow, this is really
all the
happening
time
right now.
Baseball and basketball. I would smile.
All I'm saying is, if I was a Yankees fan and my closer gave up the losing home run,
I don't give a shit. Yeah, I was pissed, but
what a pump fake,
I wasn't really as pissed at Chapman. I was just more pissed at the Yankees.
What a tease! What a tease!
LeMahieu with the home run in the 9th to tie it up. And
that's just LeMahieu. Like when he came up, I'm like, the most DJ LeMahieu thing to do right here would be to hit a home run,
and he did.
And he did that.
Yeah,
and it took me a second too to see if that went out because Springer, that close.
Yeah, I thought he definitely had a chance at it.
But Springer was mad at himself that he didn't touch it too.
He had a chance to get that. Yeah. He just mistimed it. He had
no fans were getting in the way. They wanted him to catch that.
That would have been the greatest catch ever.
Oh yeah, I don't know if there wasn't 2 outs.
There was one out.
Still, if he makes that catch, Yankees aren't doing anything after that. That's the ultimate momentum killer.
Yeah,
it's like that Brantley catch and gets a double play on that.
They were playing great defense in the outfield. Whole game.
Oh yeah, and there was that Brett Gardner line out too. That killed me. There's nothing I hate to see more than when a batter in a big situation like that gets like great contact on the pitch and just lines it, and it just goes straight in the outfield. That's such a momentum killer.
As a Yankees fan, what is the part you're most mad about?
I'm just gonna go back to pitching, settling for tier 2 guys like J Happ. We're back at the deadline last year, like, oh, he's got a lot of wins. I don't care. He had a 4.5 ERA. That's not gonna cut it. He did look good in that playoff game, and when he was out there, I'm like, I was fine with him being out there. I wish they kept him out there longer, actually, because he looked good when he was out there.
Are you team fire Boone or team no fire Boone?
I don't think I want to fire Boone. I think it's just overmanage less, and he was just outclassed by. He's gonna win Manager of the Year because of all the injuries he had, and the only guy I'm okay with getting Manager of the Year besides Aaron Boone would be Kevin Cash for the Rays,
which their payroll is $40 million.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
And I think he does get it over Aaron Boone.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised. That's the only guy I wouldn't be mad at.
What they did with Tampa Bay is incredible.
They also brought Houston to 5 games too, which is
they did.
Remarkable.
Their owner seems to be kind of a cheap ass, but even if it's just give him $100 million budget, what can that team do?
Anything.
I like them. It's really early, but I think they're going to get
Snell.
I think they're going to get free agents this offseason, whether like big guys or not. I think they're going to look to try and improve their hitting core overall. I think they're probably good to get second again in the AL East next year. I think they're going to be good for a while. And
no faith in our Red Sox.
That's just a loaded division.
Yeah,
those 3 are going to battle for it next year.
And whether JD or Mookie stays.
What they're saying, one of them has to go, which I don't understand. I mean, because of all their contracts.
I mean, you have to get rid of JD.
They like to freak out about that luxury tax.
At that point, you probably should be getting rid of JD. The only reason you trade Mookie is because of how depleted the farm system is.
Mookie's your franchise guy. If you're getting rid of
Mookie's a franchise guy. He's an all-around ball player. JD can't play the field, which we've seen on numerous occasions. He can't play the field, and he's good at hitting, but you need that all-around. Yeah, and he's getting older. You really need that all-around ball player.
And JD had that magical year that brought them to that World Series.
And they rolled over everyone.
So, again, as a Yankees fan, what do you want to see this offseason from them? Just pitching?
Oh, yeah, starting pitching. Starting pitching, and
so
I want
Garrett Cole.
Yes, but we saw the rumors today that a lot of his teammates think he's going to gravitate toward a California team, which that gets interesting because Joe Madden is the Angels manager now, and they're with Mike Trout. Obviously, they don't want to waste. They don't want to waste his career. They're going to look to sign some more guys this offseason, and Angels could be one of those non-playoff teams that do get in next year. Whether you think the A's are going to be back in the mix with that division or not. Obviously, another pretty well-coached team.
I think the Angels take that division next year, especially if they get Garrett Cole.
The division?
Yeah.
With Houston in it?
Wild card.
Yeah.
I forgot Houston was in that
Very
division.
A high-end wild card, a lot like the Rays or A's this year.
Well, I mean, losing Garrett Cole is that's small.
That's if they get Garrett Cole.
I'm basing it on the fact that they get Garrett Cole.
I think...
Because I've heard a lot of those
I think that's
going
to be a big free agent spot this offseason, too.
The Angels, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you want to go play with Mike Trout? I don't see any reason.
Or as Joe Madden as a manager.
Correct.
A really good track record.
Previewing the World Series, Houston or Washington?
I think it's going to be Houston. The pitching matchups are ridiculous in this series. I don't see Washington, though, really pushing it more than 6 games. You get Scherzer in game 1, but you also get Garrett Cole.
So we're
Washington's the team of destiny.
Yeah, we're deflating on the team of destiny thing here. Come on, you know what? I'm gonna be the only one then.
Houston, Nationals take the team of the decade.
Nationals take it in 7.
I'm with you. I think Houston's probably one of the most talented teams in this decade.
Oh yeah, they're probably my time of watching baseball. I haven't seen a more talented team.
It's just so I want to root for Washington to win just because of the game 5 against Kershaw, they killed the Cardinals.
Oh yeah, no, it would be great to see them.
They're a fun team to watch.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be I don't hate the Astros by any. I hate Roberto Osuna, but I don't hate the Astros by any means. I really respect the way and that fan base suffered for so many years. Every year it was 100 losses, and now.
Well, they built it the right way too. They built it through player development, and they have a great manager. I think I mean, in my opinion, I think he's a great manager.
I do too. AJ Hinch I think he's the best manager in the league. He outmanaged Boone. I was gonna say
some people aren't as high as him as I think they should be. Just because, like, I don't know, they say it's like all talent or it's not all him. Like I totally disagree. He's
also
with that.
like a no bullshit type guy too.
Oh,
Once all that stuff started happening with Ken Giles, got him out of there.
Yeah. So
And
I don't know. I love Washington, but I'm going to say Houston.
So we got Houston. I'm saying Nationals.
I would really love to see the Nationals win, though.
There's got to be someone who goes against the grain, and I'm going to go against the grain here.
And it's crazy. A 93-win team finishes 14 games back of the team they're playing in the World Series.
Houston and how many?
Antonio. Sorry, you asked Antonio. Nationals can't fuck.
I think they win in 6.
I'm going to say 6 as well.
And I say Nationals in 7.
Ooh. That would be a great series.
Comes down to Scherzer and Cole in that last game. That would be something.
So cold roast 3 times then, right?
Yeah, why not?
He'd have to. He'd have to. Yep.
It's kind of hard to beat Houston if he's pitching 3 times in one series. I don't even think. I mean, unless he has 2 shitters, then I don't really see them losing.
All right. Is that all for baseball?
I guess that's all for your rant, right? I don't think there's too much more to say. Interesting day of Sunday football.
Yeah,
but you know what? After baseball, Yankees are out. We move on to basketball.
Hopes for the your Lakers don't even matter, not until the postseason.
Yeah, no, I couldn't.
Basketball doesn't matter till the middle of the season.
I couldn't care about basketball until like
it's the old saying where the NBA season doesn't start until Christmas. No one really.
See, and here's the thing too. I'm the biggest hockey guy in the room. Hockey doesn't matter until.
Oh yeah, but and still it's fun to watch.
You know,
like that Tampa Bay and Bruins game.
It's still fun to watch, and I watch every single day. But it doesn't matter
I don't
until
really
like
delve
January.
into those two. I mean, obviously, with the way the NBA is kind of shoved down your throat, it's hard to not know everything that's going on in the NBA. But I don't start watching a lot of those games until football is like
completely over, or like close to over. Yeah,
like once you get to the end of the year, calendar year.
We had another Kirk Cousins being amazing sighting.
So you guys are high on Kirk Cousins, right?
I think he has a little momentum. We've been saying this for the past couple.
I'm
weeks.
not high on him, but he's got momentum. Yeah,
primetime game.
He loves to let you down.
He loves to let you down in primetime.
You know, is he gonna get like real excited for this game against his former team at home, or is it just gonna?
See, and I want to clear up what I said last time about Kirk Cousins. I'm not high on Kirk Cousins. I think he can win games in Minnesota. He does have a very good team. Their defense has been kind of disappointing. I think that they could definitely play better. And I did say Dalvin Cook would have a big game. He did have a big game. They can't win with him. When it comes time to the postseason.
When it comes time against a team that they need to win and he needs to throw, it's not going to happen.
Everything, unless they win that game solely with their defense. And it's like a
and I don't think that happened. Game. Maybe 2 years ago, defense, I agree with you.
Still,
2 years ago, yes.
Their roster, I think, could be a championship caliber roster. It's just not with Kirk Cousins. He's not winning you a Super Bowl.
And they paid $80 million just to find that out.
So what is it, 15 right now, or 14.5 Thursday night?
I don't know. You got to pull it up, but I think it's around that number.
I think you're right. It's 14.
So if I had to make a pick in that game, I'm definitely saying Washington. Only
minus 16.
It's up to 16. I would take Washington plus the points only because of
too many points.
Primetime Cousins
throws a pick or two to Mr. Norman.
Well, it's also against his former team too. He's gonna be a little amped up. I think
he does like playing amped up.
It's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be like 24-14 or 24-17, something like that. But I'm definitely taking Washington in that game.
It goes back to, again, Kirk Cousins is a tough man to read. You think, I don't know.
You think you know him and then you don't.
Yeah, I know. Like Thursday, we talk prime time, but is Thursday really like that big of a spotlight? Maybe because you are playing against your former team.
For him, it's going to be because he makes it out to be every time.
Fuck it. Plus 16 for the Washington.
Nolan?
I'm going minus 17 Minnesota.
Right. Not minus 16? You're going minus 17? You're really going against the grain here.
Yeah, whatever. Shut up. Yeah, no, I think they blow them out. I just think Washington's too bad.
I still think they'll win, but
Chris Thompson's still out, right? Is he out next week? He was out this week.
Probably.
Most likely, yeah.
And they have no weapons on that offense.
Yeah, they just have nobody. I think the Vikings defense probably eats against them. they've been kind of off, and I think this would probably be the time to.
Keenum goes against his former team too.
Double revenge game.
Oh my!
Listen.
Too many points.
I don't think it's too many points. I think they win by 21 or more.
So it'll only take them up to minus 21. Interesting.
Yeah, minus 21. Put your money on it, people.
All right. 1 o'clock game Sunday.
Let's do more recap though.
Yeah.
All right.
Before we get into like the matchups. Colts and Houston.
Great game.
You're right.
Colts,
yeah.
That was a pretty good game.
Brissett's looked
not really surprising.
Brissett's looked very good this season.
I think me and Sal
he
the
gets the
Colts.
job
You had
done.
Houston, right?
Yeah, I had Houston, but Brissett obviously gets the job done. He's not Andrew Luck.
I honestly think he does more than getting the job done. I think he's actually very underrated.
He's developing into a really good quarterback.
I mean, he's not making like massive throws or anything, but he's making the throws he needs to make.
Frank Reich is a very good coach.
I love Frank Reich, and that's just Brissett. He moves the chains, man.
T.Y. Hilton played a good game. I said he probably would go off. He had a touchdown. Both their tight ends, Ebron and Doyle.
That Ebron catch was something.
Oh, yeah. Mac.
Not only can they catch, but they can block, too. They have a really good running game.
Quentin Nelson, probably one of the best offensive linemen.
They're good all around the board.
Kind of disappointing from Houston, that coming off a big win. You'd think they'd at least... I mean, they kept it close for most of the game, but...
And they're banged up, too.
They lost Fuller during the game, which I think that's a key part of their offense.
See, and here's the thing. A lot of people are making excuses that they're banged up and whatever, but, like, this is the time that you need to assert yourself. This is a division game where you're fighting for first place.
They are the most Jekyll and Hyde team. 1 week they look great, and then the next week they just run away and they can't beat someone.
Yeah.
Hopkins came out and had a nice game. First time in a while.
I don't think they took that touchdown back, right?
I thought he...
I think
they said he was in the grass.
Watson
he did
broke
catch
out
a touchdown though, I think.
Oh, did he? Watson broke out of like 2 tackles and then they blew the play dead because the refs have had a terrible season for the NFL.
It's been pretty that was an incredible play.
It wasn't. Watson's amazing. I don't know. I kind of feel like Houston always has a little bit more to give, but they just never hit that second gear.
Yeah. Dallas and Eagles.
Great. I can't even say great Sunday night game, but
it was kind of a boring game.
Dallas looked as good as Dallas can look.
We thought it was going to be a great Sunday night game. I was really looking forward to that game, and I was really disappointed in that game.
Dallas, it's come to the conclusion that if they have all their parts, they're very hard to beat, but as soon as they lose something, it's Cooper's out against the Jets, and they lost. Smith was out against the Jets, and they lost.
It goes back to last season before they had Cooper. Such an underwhelming offense.
Talk about
he really elevated them.
Talk about a complete 180. Everyone was bashing them for that trade.
When do you see a receiver like elevate an offense like that much? He makes that team.
And did he do anything in Oakland?
He would have games where he had 150
exactly.
yards.
He was so inconsistent.
And then he would have games where he had 1 catch for 10
I was
yards.
not a big Amari Cooper guy in Oakland. And when it came to fantasy football, I always stayed away from him. But this year, it's just every game 120. 130, 110.
Look at him. His route running's impeccable. Dak loves throwing him the ball. I mean, when you're that wide open, it's pretty easy to throw him the ball.
I mean, other than like Julio Jones, sometimes DeAndre Hopkins, no one creates separation like he does.
Again, Kellen Moore needs love because Kellen Moore's been running that offense pretty well.
And then Tyron Smith is like the best player in the NFL.
And they pounded the ball a little bit more.
I said this last week.
Zeke had a great game too.
I said this last week too. When Tyron Smith is in the lineup, they normally win. When Tyron Smith is out, they normally lose.
Because we were high on that Eagles defensive front, and they went head first at him.
I was very high on the Eagles just period going into this year. They're a mess.
Yeah,
an absolute disaster.
They definitely
Lane Johnson
showed their
said
true
that
colors
after the game too. He said the locker room's kind of messed up after.
They don't have a secondary. Their pass rush was non-existent. If you don't have a secondary, you're not getting anything from that defense. If your pass rush isn't doing its job, and their offensive line. So disappointing this year. When they won the Super Bowl, it was because of the offensive line.
I was going to say
that was one of the best offensive lines I've ever seen in my life.
Probably one of the best offensive lines in the league at that point.
And then they're really missing Deshaun Jackson too because their receivers are bigger guys.
Think about how stupid this is. You plan your offense around a 32-year-old speed receiver who gets hurt.
I know that's their big play guy because other than that, Wentz gets to throw to Jeffrey and Aguilar, two big guys. You're not getting anything after the catch. You're catching it
not only are you
a
not
yard
getting,
and you're getting tackled.
Not only are you not getting anything after the catch, think about how hard it is to throw to Alshon when Alshon has almost no separation.
I know.
Again, Alshon's a big receiver, but he can barely get separation.
You really got to rely on him going up for that ball.
Aguilar's probably the only one that can get separation right now. You have Ertz is a great receiver, but again, it's like a hard throw when you're throwing to a tight end.
And you can't rely on your tight ends to like be the center of your offense,
which it basically is.
Yeah,
you're running the offense.
Yeah, Goddard had some drops. He's kind of iffy. He's inconsistent. There are some days where Carson Wentz throws to him every single play.
There are games where he gets tight end happy and he'll only throw to him and Ertz.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think they gotta. When Jackson comes back, their offense is definitely gonna look better. But I just can't believe how reliant they are of Deshaun Jackson when he just got there.
Which is crazy.
They've never. I mean, obviously they had him earlier in his career, but like Carson Wentz has never had Deshaun Jackson, so I don't know why they're so.
And here's back to my point too. I've never been too high on Carson Wentz. I mean, he's definitely a great quarterback. Does he win a Super Bowl? Can you see him winning a Super Bowl?
I've always liked Carson Wentz since the draft.
That's crazy.
I still think
that's
he's
so
really
crazy
good
to think
quarterback.
about because like they rallied around Nick Foles, and now it's like they don't.
And it's the same thing. It's the same thing with Case Keenum and Kirk Cousins that happened in Minnesota. They chose to have.
Keenum wasn't winning a quarterback either, or not quarter. The hell was that? Keenum wasn't winning a Super Bowl either.
Well, he got him to an NFC title game.
He got him to an NFC title game. They got blown out by the Eagles, but the Eagles went on to win the Super Bowl. You lost to the eventual champions. So, I mean, it's the same thing that happened to Kirk Cousins and Case Keenum. It's the same thing that happens here. They overlook Nick Foles, the fact that he's lights out in the playoffs, which is kind of weird to think about, but he won you a Super Bowl. Like, this is even more than the Case Keenum thing. Case Keenum just got them to an NFC Championship game. Nick Foles won you a Super Bowl.
Do you think that's what the divide in the locker room Lane Johnson's talking about is? The fact that
I don't think so. I think it's just
there's a statue. You guys know there's a statue of Nick Foles in the practice squad of the Eagles.
They liked
stadium.
Nick Foles. Which was so
Well,
crazy
he
to me
has
that
some
they
really
got
good
rid
years
of him.
with them too.
So
they got to the playoffs plenty of times when he was there.
Carson
quarterback.
Wentz, when he goes to practice every day, has to look at a statue of Nick Foles. That's gotta suck.
I mean, I don't think he's a great leader in the locker room either.
That's
From
probably
what it sounds like. It does like it doesn't sound like
also
he rallies
like
the troops.
What kind of control does Doug Peterson have of that team right now too?
I used to think he was a great coach, but lately
I think everyone.
It's not.
I always think of Doug Peterson as like the guy in the locker room. He'll just shut himself in his office and like just kind of hide out and like he'll just go over plays like by himself. Doesn't tell anyone.
I think he's a smart coach, but I don't know how much of a how much motivation he can like rally his team around or how like fired up he can get his team. I feel like that one season where they made the Super Bowl, it was because of not because of Nick Foles, but they really rallied around the fact that they were the underdog and they just like bought into that mentality. Now they have no identity. They like don't know what kind of team they are.
And not only did he win a Super Bowl, he threw for over 400 yards against a Patriot defense and a Belichick coach team.
Yeah, you're throwing
and
400
won
yards on Belichick.
won the Super
Not
Bowl.
common. That's better than Eli's.
Come on, bro. And then you go and you say, oh, well, we don't want to look stupid because we picked Carson Wentz high in the draft and he was supposed to be our franchise guy. It's just they picked with their heart instead of their head.
Yeah.
And I think it's showing right now because they showed their true colors on Sunday.
It's going to be a launch season for them, I think. I don't think they make the playoffs.
At this point, I wouldn't think so either.
I want to talk about the most disappointing team of the NFL season, the Atlanta Falcons, who just
suck.
Are not.
It might be.
We talked about Dan Quinn getting fired last week. I think it's right around the corner, honestly.
And Matt Ryan got banged up at the end of the game too. Did they say what it was?
I didn't check the injury report, but he is just
like he limped off to the locker room. It kind of looked bad.
Nothing. He hasn't really played off.
Nothing since the Super Bowl has worked for them. Nothing since that.
They never got over
10-6
it.
season the year after, lose to the Eagles in the first round. That was about it.
And then they went 5-11 or 6-10 last year.
I think it went 6-10 last year.
It's their defense has been putrid the last 2 years. They move the ball on offense, but then they stall and they have to kick a field goal, or they don't get points in the red zone because Matt Ryan loves throwing picks in the red zone. Like, it's just a team that doesn't play cohesive, and it's just a matter of time before they need a regime change and they need something.
And I mean, their players haven't changed very much.
It's the same team as when they went to the Super
What, they
Bowl,
lost
basically.
Tevin Coleman, that's it?
And added Calvin Ridley.
Who's a great receiver.
Calvin Ridley's been good for him.
And Austin Hooper is taking a step up. It's not like they're losing.
Austin
I like
Hooper,
Austin
I think,
Hooper. He's a
I
pretty
think
good
he's
tight
like
end.
the leading player on that team right now.
I mean, Julio obviously, but
I mean,
after Julio as a
Austin Hooper's has put up some big numbers.
He had a really good year last year too.
Rams kind of found themselves this game. Jalen looked good against Julio. Julio had
Yeah,
some catches.
they Todd Gurley looked a lot better.
I think they're gonna keep limiting his touches, and hopefully they get into the playoffs. And if they do get into the playoffs, that's when they're gonna give him like 20, 25 touches, and they're gonna ride him until he's hurt or until he literally can't touch the ball. So I understand their game plan, but they gotta hope he holds up the whole season. Because without him, they have no offense.
Yeah, we saw that last week.
Jared Goff cannot take a team over the hump by himself.
Well, they can't just coast the rest of the season here. They're in third place in their division.
They're 4-3. Are they tied for a wild card spot right now, or are they?
Let's find out. I don't think they are because Packers lead their division at 6-1. Vikings are 5-2, and so are the Seahawks. So Seahawks and Vikings are the two wild card teams as the
so they're a game out.
Stand right now, yeah. So they can't coast,
but they still are. You still think they have a game against the 49ers? They have a game against the Seahawks, so they definitely can't coast. But they're gonna try to limit Gurley's touches as best they can. They're really gonna only expose him in games that he needs to have 20 or 25 touches. So.
I mean, and Sean McVay likes throwing the ball anyway, so
he likes throwing the ball, but Goff can only throw the ball so many times before he looks like a pumpkin.
Yeah, you saw the game that he threw like 50, 60 times, and they lost.
Which that's not the recipe for them to win. They want to run the ball. They're a team that runs the ball. They're not.
Yeah, they got to come out running the ball, and that opens up the passing game
because they love play action.
They love play action, but it doesn't work if Todd Gurley isn't either playing or healthy, and you play from behind. If you play from behind, you kind of have to throw at that point.
Speaking of Green Bay, too, they looked amazing Sunday. They couldn't be stopped.
Yeah, I think, and we know how good the NFC is. There's a lot of really good teams in the NFC.
They might be the favorite.
But right now, I think Packers and the Saints are just far above everyone else in the conference.
It's just funny how like the refs love them too. You watch those games and they get every call. It's, I don't know, like not
they really want
they
that
want Aaron
line.
Yeah, they want to see Aaron in another Super Bowl.
Whatever, it's Packers are entertaining. They're always a good story.
Devontae comes back, that offense is damn near unstoppable.
And their defense has played really well.
Their offensive line has played good all year. You got Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams in the backfield. You got Devontae on the outside with Valdez-Scantling and Allison.
I think Rodgers finally has his
supporting
dream team.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be the hero anymore.
I think
not making up for the defense every time.
Exactly.
You got Jimmy Graham too.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know. I think LaFleur, however you want to say his name, designed is designing a great offense for Rodgers, and I think Rodgers finally has a coach that he can rely on and talk to. I think
and not bitch at all the time.
McCarthy was a terrible coach in my opinion. Him and Rodgers always got into like pissing matches on the sideline, so I think LaFleur is a great addition for that team.
But I mean, who do you put the blame on there, McCarthy or Rodgers?
McCarthy, because look at how bad they've done the last couple of years, and now that they get this new coaching change, they're 6-1. They haven't.
Wow, we all love water, huh? We love water.
They haven't lost a game in the division. Like, I don't know. I think LaFleur was a good breath of fresh air for that franchise, definitely.
We saw Sal pick up the water. We were like, whoa.
I feel like, wow, I'm thirsty, dude. Yeah, my throat is like killing me today.
Raiders did not look good.
Yeah, Raiders defense is a concern.
Yeah, their offense looked good.
Derek Carr had another one of those fumble out of the end zone plays.
I don't know what he was doing on that play because he's done that before.
It was almost mirrored to the play last year when he did that.
You would think he would learn his lesson by now.
And Raiders plus 5.5 was a pretty popular pick, you know, with
I think so too. Like this week. Because everyone was so high on them coming out of that game in London against Chicago.
Chicago, god damn it, Mitchell Trubisky sucks.
They got another team
defense,
that
people were high on.
Quarterback. I think Nagy's a good coach too. They just got to figure out that quarterback thing.
You see what they called him on Twitter? The Midwest Bortles. It's true.
Oh man,
he throws for 4 yards. He can't throw more than 4 yards down the field. It's a check down every time. It's 2 yards to Allen Robinson. It's 2 yards to Tariq Cohen. Like, he can't push the ball down the field. You need a quarterback change on that team. You need Chase Daniel to come in. You need to sign someone off the street.
But like how these teams are. They're like, oh, we just drafted him. No, we can't get rid of him.
This has to be the last season of him because you can't go where you want to be with him.
They just finally got to be an organization to realize after a few years
they made a mistake and they have to own up to it.
Yeah, and a lot of these teams that have these mistakes, they don't like own up to it. They never get rid of that guy. They're not going to get rid of Mitchell Trubisky. That's the thing.
If they give him another year, that's a pretty poor decision on their part.
Again, making decisions with your heart instead of your head. What's better for the team or what's going to make our fans hate us?
Talk about great decisions. Teddy Two Gloves getting signed by the Saints in the offseason as their backup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Sean Payton like a fortune teller or something?
Yeah, that's what I said
nuts.
last week. Yeah. I'm really high on the Saints.
I am too.
They finally have a good defense. I mean, they have the last couple of years, but
they've had good defenses.
But this year, it even looks different.
And again,
and the year before.
I mean, and again, last year they were one pass interference call away from going to the Super Bowl.
They've won a couple games with their defense, like that Dallas game, 12-10 defense all the way.
And they have. I mean, Teddy can throw the ball now. So they have those ability to go in that shootout game as well. They can win the defensive game or the offensive game.
There's almost no weak point on that team.
No, and it's like when Teddy first came in, you weren't really seeing big throws out of him, but he hadn't started a game in damn near 2 years. And as he progressed, more down the field throws.
The difference between Teddy and Drew is Teddy's more of like a timing guy, so you have to be there right when he's ready to throw. Whereas Drew can more improvise and push the ball down the field if he has to. I think they adjusted after the first couple games with him, and they're used to how Teddy likes to throw the ball. And obviously Sean Payton's going to design plays to get receivers open. It's got running backs in the backfield. He's going to figure it out.
And even more impressive is that they went into Chicago and beat them without Kamara.
Beat him handily too.
Cook or Jared Cook. They didn't have either of those two guys. So
it
that's
shows they're not relying
impressive.
on one player.
They're a team.
They're a team.
And I think last week I kind of was hesitant saying Drew Brees should come back or shouldn't come back. I honestly think, and that's what I was saying yesterday. I said if they win this game, they should not bring Drew Brees back against Arizona. They should wait until after the bye. That way he's completely 100%, and you have time to practice and get reps in with Drew Brees because they're used to Teddy now. With Drew Brees in there, it's a whole different story.
Imagine if our NFC Championship ends up being
Packers Saints,
and you get
Rodgers,
Drew, and Rodgers.
That's a dream matchup.
Oh yeah, and quarterbacks with the past few years known for not having the supporting cast around them and known for not having the defense, and two of them are finally at that point, and they just clash right there.
I think we gotta talk about this game that's on the stream, the Ravens Seahawks game. Lamar looked
as
good as you can look.
It was definitely a pick, and I picked Seattle just because they were at home, and I knew it'd be shitty weather.
Yeah, there's my one.
Baltimore +3 was one of my picks.
It never stops raining in Seattle, so
+3 was my only right pick of the week.
The Ravens. I mean,
they're
what
a real
can
team.
Lamar Jackson not do?
He's a cheat code.
He is.
I don't know how you stop him.
He can throw the ball downfield. He can run. He can run big plays.
He still has some moments where it's but he always makes up for it.
I love Mark Ingram. I don't even know what he did.
And that's the thing too. When
I just think he's a really good running back and a really good compliment because he's more of the bruiser, whereas Lamar that's in the open space. It's two different styles, and I think that's
it's what you see at a lot of backfields with running backs. You get the bruiser and you get the speed guy.
But you get both of them on the field. Yeah, you get both of them on the field at the same time.
Yeah, and I think a part of what Mark Ingram's troubles last year was he was splitting with Alvin Kamara.
And now he's the lead back.
When you need that bruiser guy, that downhill guy, he needs to get most of the carries because as you get into the game, you get more adjusted to what the defense is throwing at you, so it gets easier as you go. And if you get 20, 30 carries...
You also don't want to tackle Mark Ingram 20 times a game either if he's getting all those carries.
Exactly. He's a big boy.
He is a big boy. Seattle looks a little disappointing, but they've been pretty on fire for the last month.
I think they'll be fine.
And I think Lamar Jackson is the best rushing QB since Kaepernick.
I would even say he's better than Kaepernick. I would go back.
I think he's better than Kaepernick too. But
I would say he's
pretty easy to say. I'd say.
I would say he's closer to Vic, if anything.
I think Cap. I think more like Cap.
Quite a few of Vic's records.
Because Cap was always, he has that amazing arm,
Cap has a better arm than.
Oh yeah,
does.
he would throw because he was
This
a
kid's
he was
still
a
got
college
time, though.
baseball pitcher, right?
I'm not saying Lamar doesn't have a good arm, but I just think he had a better arm.
But he can throw downfield.
Yeah,
That's the important part, and he's
His-
pretty accurate.
At this point, his arm is good enough. He's still very young, and a lot of things tend to develop.
And I
as
mean, you look
get
at
older in the NFL.
he's the leading rusher in the last 2 weeks or whatever. He averages 6.9 yards a carry and averaging 82.3 yards per game. Like that's just crazy.
That's wild.
And he's a quarterback.
How about your Giants?
Pat Shurmur sucks.
Really, that's your take from that game?
Got out coached by
Cliff
a college
Kingsbury.
coach that got fired from his
People
university.
love
But,
talking so
no,
much
I
about
don't-
Cliff Kingsbury.
I'm high on the Cardinals.
I'm not like high on the Cardinals.
I
but
mean,
I
I'm
think
not saying they're gonna do anything
they're
crazy
not
like
making
make the playoffs, but
they've looked good. Granted, they have beat some pretty teams. One of them was the Bengals.
but you
one
look
was
at
the
their
Giants,
past years where they have been shit. Like
Yeah.
they have not done anything.
Cliff
And
Kingsbury's
Kyler
a
Murray
surprise.
comes in. Kyler Murray comes in and just
Kyler Murray's been
completely
great.
lifts them up. I think he's the biggest surprise of the
Chase
season.
Edmonds with 3 touchdowns. That was such a tease for everyone that started David Johnson. That's so
Well,
funny.
Kingsbury outcoached Shurmur by a mile yesterday. You saw the plays he was designing. Pat Shurmur's play, I don't know what the play
Well,
call
Shermer
was.
doesn't really call it defense, does he?
No, he doesn't. He's the offensive play caller. But if you look at the difference between the way those two offenses were being played, the Cardinals were just ready for everything.
Yeah.
The Giants scored, I think, 21 or 24 points. I'm not sure, but 14. They had 14 offensive points.
Barkley looked okay in his return. I think he still has to get up to game speed.
He was limping a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. He had a few plays where he kind of came off.
Ingram got hurt? Or no?
No, he didn't get hurt. He just didn't really do anything.
I thought I saw him hobbling. At the
Yeah,
end
I
of the
thought
game.
he got banged up on one of the plays.
There was one play. I think someone got him in the eye.
Oh, that's what it was.
And
You're right.
he came off the field, went back on the field. The camera zoomed right in his face, and he was like that.
Yeah, you can play with one eye.
But he was dropping everything.
So I'm kind of with Nolan. I feel pretty good about Arizona.
Yeah, Cliff
doing-
Kingsbury's been good.
I've been feeling good about Arizona for weeks now.
Not doing anything like close to the postseason, but maybe they go like 6-10, 7-9 this year.
But they have something to build around.
Oh yeah,
now.
they're definitely like an up and coming team for sure.
Because it's that team where it was kind of like the Browns last year, where like no one really expected anything, but then they come in and totally surprise you, which I was pleasantly surprised.
It's at this point you got your team's quarterback. Even though I'm not the highest on Kyler, I think
I'm pretty high on Tyler.
I think it's too accurate to not be good.
Yeah,
The only thing I
he's
just
smart. He's smart.
I would just rather not have a quarterback that short, but
Drew Brees has proved that it can work.
he's taller than Kyler. Kyler's 2 inches shorter.
Still under 6 foot. That's always been the adage that you have to have a 6 foot quarterback. And
I mean, whatever. Maybe he proves it wrong. I mean, at this point,
But his
I think the
mobility
Cardinals-
kind of makes up for how short he is. He can roll out of the
he's
pocket, and then it doesn't really matter
I think
at that
the
point.
Cardinals at this point, they really got to look on just building that defense back up and the offensive line, and then you got your team. Then you worry about your skill players.
Can we talk about your awful Cincinnati Bengals pick?
I had that pick as well, so watch yourself.
I want it defended because I didn't understand that pick.
So basically, what
don't think
my
it was
dealing
either.
was is if there was ever a time for Cincinnati, and Cincinnati's been close in games, right? Like in the beginning, they always come. Here's the thing about Cincinnati: they come out swinging, and then towards the end of the game, Andy Dalton becomes Andy Dalton.
He turns into a pumpkin.
And I think right now for Cincinnati, it's clean house protocol.
Yes.
You get Andy Dalton out of there. You get the coach out of there.
You get AJ Green out of there. You fire.
You can trade away AJ Green. You clean house. You get picks. You're probably gonna get the first pick because you're going 0-16.
Oh,
They
at
better
this
not
point.
take two with that pick.
Sony Michel's hurt. We're live in the fourth quarter right now. That's not good.
Let's see it.
Banged knees, maybe. Yeah, he banged
Oh, he
knees.
just banged knees.
He loves getting hurt.
He'll be fine. It didn't look that bad.
I agree with the Bengals take though. I think you have to fire Zach Taylor. I know it's his first season, but I don't think he's a good head coach at all. I think Dalton.
I mean, maybe not fire Zach Taylor, but you got to get offense.
what has Zach Taylor
offense.
shown you this year when that team was? I don't even know what.
But
the
I
team
mean,
was.
you had a dumpster fall in your lap. He hasn't had a chance to prove himself.
with being an NFL coach, your leash is very short.
I don't know. I tend to lean more towards giving people
Bengals
a little bit more
hold
time.
on to head coaches that.
And also,
Our
too,
past-
it's his
I
first
saw a
year.
report too that Marvin Lewis is drawing head coaching speculation. I was like,
What if
really?
the Bengals bring him back?
Come
I
on,
wouldn't be
bro.
surprised. That sounds like a Bengals thing to do.
Yet another hole in the hull of your ship to sink you.
I really don't think the Bengals pick was an awful pick.
No, it wasn't.
Like, they were 0-6, and they're playing the Jaguars.
Come on.
They're pretty average.
If they were getting more points, I'd understand it, but they were getting like 3.
It was 4.
It was 4.5 at home.
And they were what, down by 3 with, I don't know, like 5 minutes left in the game.
It's just Andy Dalton.
They went up in the game too in the fourth quarter.
Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton threw 3 interceptions in like 5 minutes in the fourth quarter or something like that. Like
that sounds about right.
It's Dr.
I mean,
for you.
it's just he shot himself in the foot.
Andy Dalton is Kirk Cousins, but worse. That's what it comes down to. San Francisco stays undefeated, but not much to talk about in that game. It was a pretty boring.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Low-scoring
really
game.
Soup Bowl game.
It was really wet out. There
The
was
monsoon
rain
game.
everywhere.
It was
9-0.
I mean, I guess it shows a little bit about San Francisco that they
can win
play,
ugly.
They can win with their defense. Yeah.
and
Oh,
they
you gotta be able to
don't
win
just
ugly.
have to
We
win
like
at
that.
home.
We love ugly games.
Like they don't just have to win at home in San Francisco where it's 80 and sunny every Sunday.
I think Jimmy Garoppolo, like I said a couple weeks ago, is not as good as people want to make him out to be, but he fits what they need to do. So
I think I'm gonna stay clear of my decision about Jimmy Garoppolo for now until he plays
better teams.
a better team. They're playing some shitty team this week too.
San Francisco plays.
I'm pretty sure they play a pretty.
Is it Oakland?
It's Carolina.
Carolina.
That's not a shitty team. I was looking at that
so
before. It's
I
a pretty
was
good
wrong
game.
about that.
Kai Allen will be the starter this week. They announced that.
And
too.
they're in San Francisco.
Yep.
San Francisco at home is very good. So I'm taking San Francisco in that game
That'll be a good game to watch. That's a 4:25 game. They'll probably play that on Fox, honestly.
because their defense is very good too.
Talk about a cock tease. Melvin Gordon at the goal line, not scoring.
The Chargers.
They had a
This was on my
Sucks for
fantasy
you.
team.
They had a touchdown called back at first, and then they had Melvin at the 1-yard line to win the game, and he gets stuffed and then fumbles. Talk about a team that really is not missing him.
Fantasy owners still liking the Austin Eckler thing too. He had like 19 total rush yards, but I think he had 25 points.
Again, that offense moves way better when he's in the game, so I don't know why he's not in the game.
Yeah, again, they have to make up their mind. If you're gonna give all the carries to Melvin Gordon, give all the carries to Melvin Gordon.
Don't
give any
yes.
carries to Austin Eckler. If you want to be a receiving back out of the backfield, fine. Or if you want it all to run through Austin Eckler, have it all run through Austin Eckler.
I don't know how he can just come back in and dominate the
Look at this.
backfield like that.
Eckler had 7 rushing yards on 5 carries, then 7 receptions for 118 and a touchdown.
I don't know why he's not in all the time. You don't know whether they're going to run or throw if he's in the game. You know, if Melvin's in the game, they're most likely running the ball.
I think they're
Still
also
the third ranked running back in PPR leagues too.
See, and here's the thing. This weekend showed a lot about different teams. It was a very revealing weekend. And I think we saw with the Chargers is just the epitome of their season.
They're just the Chargers.
They're just the Chargers.
Do what the Chargers usually do.
Phillip Rivers is on his way down.
He played a good game this Sunday, but
I don't know if this will be his last year, but probably next year will probably be his last year.
He's coming up on it for sure.
I don't think. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's this
he's-
year.
He's on the cusp, and they're paying Melvin Gordon all that money to run the ball, and he's not running the ball. He's fumbling on the 1-yard line, on the goal line actually, and where he had another chance to get in and didn't, or 2 other chances.
And he couldn't get in.
He couldn't get in.
Last game we didn't talk about from Sunday is the Bills. Not too much to talk about. Bills got done
the
with
job done, which
Yeah.
is what they've done all year.
Nobody circles the wagons like the
Miami
Buffalo
did
Bills.
cover.
Miami covered the 16. That was one of Nolan's picks.
What was one of my picks? It was 17.
17.
Which
Dolphins covered.
I definitely thought was too many points, and Fitzpatrick against
His
the
former
Bills.
team.
I got scared when that game started because I'm a big Bills believer, and Fitzpatrick coming out the gates throwing a touchdown like that, I was like,
Yeah, they came down and they had a drive in the beginning of the game, and they came out and I was like, okay, if this is what it's gonna be.
Is this tank killer Fitzpatrick again?
Dolphins still looked inept, and I mean they looked better this week for sure, but still nothing.
It didn't seem like they wanted to go 0-17 this weekend though. They had some fight.
They had fight for the first half, and then they kind of rolled over in the second half.
I think they realized that they're gonna like accidentally win at some point in Cincinnati. It'll probably be against Cincinnati if they even play. I don't even know, but Cincinnati's going 0-17.
That I wouldn't be surprised about that. Any of these teams that sucked, them, Washington, and Miami, I wouldn't be surprised if they all go.
It's crazy that they're that bad. We're to the point where
it's not even like they're trying to win though. That's not their goal at this point.
Well, once you get to week 8 and you haven't won yet, you're kind of giving up.
Yeah,
there's nothing really you can do.
At that point, what are you playing for?
I don't know if these. I'm not sure about the rest of their schedules, but 0-16. That's like. Do you want that on your franchise?
Or did I say 0-17? 0-16.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you want it on your franchise, but I think you want the first pick. I think that's important. What would you rather go 0-16 and get the best?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, also right now, with the way the draft works,
does that
you always
really
get one
you,
quarterback
they want
that kind of comes out of
results.
nowhere.
I think if you put Tua on, since
no, I don't know.
Not high on Tua.
No.
I think Tua's going to be
Justin Herbert looks really good.
You love Justin Herbert.
I didn't the past 2 years.
Justin
I was like, Justin Herbert. This year he looks really good.
I don't know. I think
I like Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts with the right coach. He has to be an offensive minded coach.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a first round talent, but he'll get drafted.
They're saying he is. They're saying he's getting drafted in the first round most likely.
He'll end up on an NFL team, no doubt. It's just I'm not. Tua's got to be the Alabama quarterback to prove me wrong.
All right, Thursday's jam. Oh, we talked about that a little bit already.
Yeah.
We'll move to Sunday.
Should we talk about? Well, we haven't talked about Mahomes.
The Mahomes injury. I forgot
That
about
sucks.
that.
Mahomes injury. That's a tough one.
It looked worse than it actually was.
It does, but that sort of injury is not something you can get 100% by playing every single week when he comes back.
The key is rest, and they don't really have time. I mean,
They're not going to rest him. He
They're
doesn't
gonna-
want to rest.
Yeah.
I don't think he does.
Well, it's not only that he doesn't. It's that all right, they played Green Bay this week. They're probably going to lose most likely. Like if they start losing a couple of games, like the teams in the back of the division might catch up to them. They want home field for at least a game in the playoffs. Like they don't have room for error really at this point. So
Yeah, and I mean, they're going to lose one game without him.
Just
At
how
least
long?
one.
How long have they said that he's going to be out for?
At least
I
three.
think
a couple
3
weeks, right?
At least
Yeah.
3 to 4.
And it's really disappointing, one, because he's so fun to watch play. And if he was healthy this week, him and Rodgers would have been something.
There
to
was
Oh,
a
that
watch.
would have
big-
been a good.
That
game.
would have been
There was a big game
amazing.
coming, too.
That really sucks, man. Like when I saw that injury, I'm like,
The NFL really shit their pants when they saw that.
They were not too happy about that for sure. I don't know that. Obviously, that would have been a good matchup, but you got to keep.
But Matt Moore,
You got to keep him out for as long as you can. I like Matt Moore as a backup.
I like Matt Moore too. Remember that year on the Dolphins? Tannehill got hurt, got to the playoffs.
You got to remember too. Andy Reid's designing the plays, so they'll get people open. But I don't think with that defense you're gonna win too many games.
and the thing I think about Matt Moore is he's not a guy that. Well, he's a guy who with enough experience where you don't have to baby him in the beginning. You can throw the ball still. It just depends on.
You can't
how
run
well.
the same. I mean, there's no offense. Mahomes runs his own offense basically, but Matt Moore can do a serviceable job in his absence for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, they never really have or ever had a running game like LaShawn McCoy.
When Kareem Hunt was there.
Yeah, I mean, like I was gonna
Is
say
he coming
Kareem.
back?
Damien, it's week 8, right?
We tell him he's coming back.
So that'll be
Well, he's
interesting.
suspended 8 weeks.
Yeah, then they have a bye week 9,
Oh,
or they have something.
Kareem Hunt comes back soon, but
Week 10 is when he's
Cleveland's a
coming
whole
back.
other
That'll be
thing.
interesting. That'll be a new dynamic.
It's another mouth to feed in
when and
Cleveland.
if Mahomes comes back, which he definitely is coming back. But when he comes back, he's not going to be 100%. That's that type of injury where he opted to not get the surgery to fix, because I think if he would have got the surgery, he would have been out longer. But
If he
you
needs
can't make it worse by playing on it, but it hurts like a bitch to play on it.
Oh yeah,
And he's probably gonna have a brace on it.
He's
so
gonna
his
be
mobility is gonna be.
he's definitely gonna be uncomfortable playing with it.
And I think what's been their downfall for the past few weeks where they played bad is he hasn't been as mobile. He had an ankle injury. So I mean, it all depends. I think this is alarming for the
Their
Chiefs
offensive
fans.
line just hasn't looked as good either.
I think we're really gonna see
That's why the running game hasn't clicked.
how Andy Reid's coaching ability is when it comes to.
He's really got to scheme receivers open for the next couple of weeks because you got to make easy throws for Matt Moore.
Yeah, he's been in the lab and he's been drawing up plays all week.
And you got to get the connection between Moore and Tyreek Hill, because Mahomes and Tyreek Hill have like a connection that I haven't seen from a quarterback and receiver in like
Yeah,
a pretty
it's like
long
that
time.
chemistry thing. Yeah,
All right, moving to Sunday.
we can move into Sunday. Yeah,
Seahawks -3.5 at Atlanta.
that might not be enough points.
I don't think that's enough points
They're in Atlanta.
in Atlanta, but I
In
don't
a
think
dome.
Atlanta's really shown you anything that's going to say that you can take
Seahawks
Atlanta.
aren't going to play in the rain for once, so
Playing a dome.
Yeah.
Russell against that defense, he might put up 30, 35.
Unless the
it's
Seahawks
minus
decide to
2.5.
get ice
Like,
cold.
I'm just thinking about that. Like, that's disgusting. Why?
Yeah. Seahawks, please.
I would definitely take the Seahawks in that game. It's kind of hard to back Atlanta on that game.
I mean, I don't know how hurt Matt Ryan is.
that's the other thing.
Yeah,
too.
I was gonna
Like,
say
you have
that's
a
the
banged
other
up
thing.
Matt Ryan.
If he's playing hurt, for
And their backup
whatever
is
reason-
Matt Schaub, who loves throwing picks.
Oh, Matt Schaub. Oh, he had a couple terrible years in Houston.
I think that defense is atrocious. I think Russell throws for a couple 300-400 yards and a couple touchdowns. I think that's an easy win
Just
for
disappointing.
Seattle.
If I'm an Atlanta fan, I'm
Disappointed.
very disappointed.
Might go run heavy in that game too with Seattle, and if it works, then
Well, yeah, you're gonna hand the
With
ball.
Carson?
Yeah, Carson. They can do whatever they want that game.
yeah.
Like it's not gonna matter.
All right, what else we got?
Saints at home, still Teddy.
Saints.
-8.5 against Arizona, who you're high on.
Saints.
Here's the thing. I'm high on Arizona, and I do think they keep it close. Actually,
I don't think so.
Are you
hot
taking-
take.
Are you taking the 8.5?
No, I'm not taking the 8.5. I think it's 10 to 14 points the Saints win by.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't like the 8.5 for the Cardinals because I just think there's so much more experience for the Saints.
The
going up
over,
against
The
Cardinals.
over. I like the over in that game. I don't know what it is, but I like it.
I mean, Arizona the past few weeks has put up points.
Yeah,
They had 30 something against.
they had 30 against the Giants. They had 30 plus against the Falcons, and then I don't know what they scored against the Bengals, but
48. They
They look
scored
good.
27. 48.5. Take the fucking over.
Yeah, absolutely.
That game's going way
Because
over.
the Saints are scoring at least 24 plus.
No, the Saints are scoring like 31 on that fucking awful
Yeah.
defense.
So, oh well,
here on TV, Patriots just took easy dub against the Jets.
my God.
Not too much resistance from the Jets, who had 5 turnovers or 6 turnovers this game. Pretty disappointing.
I mean, we should probably talk about this game. We haven't talked about
Imagine
it. But
being a Jets fan every single year, find some reason.
To be
I
hopeful,
swear to God, this is the year.
Yep.
You know, the Jets are finally going to do it.
Nope.
nope.
They
And
said
they were high on the win against Dallas last week.
They also showed a stat too at the end of the game where it was they have the widest margin up through the first 7 games point differential since the 1930s.
Yikes.
Like 223 to 49, so they're
Oh, my God.
they're really kicking teams' asses this year.
And I think like with the Patriots, the past few years, Brady's been kind of making up for the defense
Now
because the defense has always been bad. They've been giving up yards. Everyone last year in the beginning of the season when the Patriots were terrible in the secondary, like, oh, it's over. They can't win with this defense.
By the end of the year, they had the best defense
And then
in the league.
something switched in the middle of that season when they got going in the defense, and then they go in the Super Bowl and only allow 3 points to a Rams offense. That
You know
was
what
on
I think it
steroids.
was?
Yeah, and they gave up 0 to the Chiefs in the first half in that AFC Championship game.
Right. They were
They-
14-0.
I think it was when Gilmore his
Two
first
best offenses.
his
in the league.
first like couple starts, everyone was saying Gilmore's a bad cornerback. Gilmore doesn't understand the system. When Gilmore started like really playing like Gilmore has been playing, that's when the defense flipped. I feel like that's been like the key is Gilmore taking away the top receiver, the top option for the other team.
For me, it's no doubt he's been the best
ever
corner
since
ever
Devin
then.
and Jason came together, it's been.
McCourty has
match made in
6
heaven.
interceptions this year.
I mean,
It's
And it's week, 7?
well, part of it too is Belichick running the defense now too.
Oh,
since
yeah.
Patricia
Yeah.
left because
Oh, yeah.
because every week he's in there. Before it was Belichick would have a say in the game plan, but it would mostly come down to Patricia. Now it's Belichick is telling the defense what to do.
Best
Bel-
D coordinator,
Patricia
best
didn't do
defensive coach
bad.
ever.
Yes.
It's
Patricia didn't do bad.
It's not like Patricia did bad, but Belichick is probably the best
I mean,
defensive
the
mind.
Eagles Super Bowl, that was pretty bad.
That was Patricia all the way, I think. And then he got out of there, and then Belichick's been running the defense ever since, really.
Yeah, he said, you know what? We're gonna go back to the drawing board, and we're gonna.
And he just it's literally been
It's been a
clinic every week.
defensive clinic.
They don't give up points.
Channeling in his Giants days.
It's amazing.
And it seems like every week we're like, okay, they can't be this good, right?
And then they keep doing it.
And then what we just saw against the Jets was
they shut them
an
out.
ass kicking.
I don't think there's anything that they did that wasn't on the stat sheet. Like
a pick, a fumble,
fumble, safety, multiple picks, touchdowns. Like
you name it, they did.
Did they have a touchdown? They had one that called back,
but still,
come on.
It was just someone's foot hitting someone else's
by accident. Too.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
the Jets players just stood there.
Well, speaking of the Patriots, they played the lowly Cleveland Browns this week.
At home.
I was going to say that's at home, right?
At home. Come on.
Spread is...
I don't know, but 10? You take the Patriots spread.
10.5.
Just think about as if you want to gamble and make a lot of money.
Just keep betting the Patriots.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't bet anyone else. Just bet the Patriots every single week, and you're going to end up making money by the end of the year.
For sure. It's
not
hard.
I don't know why I don't do that every week.
Because you're a Giants fan. You're too much of a Giants fan.
I don't hate the Patriots. I have no reason to hate the Patriots. Beat them in the Super Bowl twice. Why hate that?
10.5 is not enough points against that defense. Patriots going to have a long day. I think Gilmore locks Beckham up. I don't think they're going to be able to move the ball. Not like any other team has been able to move the ball.
Beckham's going to be quiet.
Beckham's going to throw a tantrum on the sideline this week. I'm calling that.
Yeah,
like
he's finally going to snap.
This is the week.
He's been holding it all in.
Gilmore's going to lock him down, and he's just going to go get pissed after one play.
Yeah, no, it'll be like the third quarter, and Beckham will have like one catch for 7 yards, and he'll finally just like pop Gilmore once, get a penalty, have a breakdown on the sidelines.
Gilmore's the guy where he won't retaliate either.
Oh, no, he's too smart.
Bills Gilmore would, but not Patriots Gilmore.
No.
So I don't know. I think that's an ass kick. I think we're all in agreement that'll be an ass kicking Sunday.
Absolutely.
Ew, Bears Chargers. What a disgusting game.
Two of the like disappointing teams this year, riding high off like last year.
All right, if I had to have you guys guess the spread for that game, what would you say?
Where is it?
I don't remember what I saw last, but I think it was
Chargers plus 4.5.
Chargers,
5. Yeah, it was 5. Chicago minus 5.
I mean, I'll take the Bears.
I'm gonna take the Chargers that game just because I would not take Mitchell Trubisky in any way, shape, or form.
I mean, I'm not taking spread or anything. I'm just saying I think the Bears will win the game.
I don't even know that the Bears. I don't know that the Bears
supposed to come back.
I haven't heard anything about him.
Because it's obvious that he's a big role in that defense because it did not look good.
Definitely a big role in the defense, but tell me how and what way, shape, or form Trubisky scores in that game. He has not shown you anything this year that he's able to move the ball.
Sure, his defense has been tragic this year.
So has a lot of defenses that he's played. I mean, he played the Saints, but like,
I'm just saying, like, he didn't. Even though
he doesn't throw the ball,
Trubisky, but he didn't have an awful game
more than 4 yards down the field.
I think the Bears' defense is like insanely capable. I just think the Bears will win the game. They're at home.
I'm not saying they're not going to win the game, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I know Trubisky doesn't move the ball. Everyone knows that.
I think it's
it's honestly pathetic how bad he is.
It's a crapshoot, that game.
That game should go either way easily.
10-3.
Under.
10-6.
Under. Wow, I'm hitting the under button.
10-6 Bears.
40 is the over-under. Under. We just saw the Jets play. They're going to Jacksonville. They're plus 4.5.
I would take the Jets in that game.
I'm going to take the Jags.
I'm high on Jacksonville.
I like Gardner.
Everyone loves Gardner.
Right,
How do you
so
not
It's hard not to like Gardner.
I'm the only one taking the Jets.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. That'll be an interesting game. I think Gardner.
You'll find out like a lot about the Jags, I think, this week. And
this is a game that if they want to make the playoffs, they have to win. They can't. There's no screw up at this point.
Yeah, I think the Jets defense is gonna swallow up Minshew. I think this is an off game for them. You can't count this against the Patriots, okay? Because that was literally all Patriots defense taking over.
Yeah,
the
that
game.
momentum kind of.
The momentum was never there.
The first play of the game.
You don't think the I mean, obviously the Jaguars defense are nowhere close to the Patriots defense, but still at home. I think Darnold might have a little PTSD from this game.
No, I'm expecting a big game from Le'Veon.
Really?
Yeah, I think he hasn't had that breakout game yet, and I think they get him way more involved against the Jags.
It's a good game plan. You're only paying him $75 million a year to carry the ball 5 times.
And they love passing to him more than they love letting him run.
Which is smart, but they don't design good plays for him. That's the problem. They'll have him like leak out with a linebacker on him, and then he'll get tackled right away.
Yeah, like 2 yards after.
You saw that this game too. I don't think Adam Gase is a good coach at all.
Very disappointing.
Just like the play, not only the plays he designs, but they had him mic'd up on the sideline, and he just sounded pretty dumb talking to Sam Darnold. Like, I don't know.
And I feel like in interviews, he's trying really hard to beat Belichick.
A hard ass when he's not at all. I don't know. That Jets team needs to find themselves, and it's not going to be this year.
I mean,
And I agree. I
has
don't
it
think
been
Gase is the answer.
any year?
It's never been the year for the Jets.
I mean, they're just showing old highlights of the Jets.
Closest was 2015, 10-6, missing the playoffs because of the Brandon Marshall curse.
Oh yeah, the game against? No, they missed the playoffs against the Bills.
Yeah, they
Fitzpatrick
finished
threw
10-6.
3 picks.
Yeah,
That was such a
That was
heartbreaking
a
game for Jets
Fitzpatrick
fan.
meltdown.
We got the Rams -12.5 at home against the Bengals. I'm definitely
Rams.
taking Rams.
Yeah,
Rams.
I would take that spread all the way.
I don't know how you take the Bengals in that game. If you're taking the Bengals
After last week, no.
you're holding
Rams at home.
You're holding your nose and putting
Against Jacksonville was their only shot.
Yeah.
Now
I mean, you're
it's
not.
over.
I mean, I've seen crazier things happen, but I say no way. They beat the Bengals beat the Rams. Like, I don't see any scenario that can happen.
Even if Todd Gurley doesn't play.
Rams will just get their reps in this game.
This will be a good
It'll
game.
be a good practice.
Yeah.
Oh wow, Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp will go huge.
Cooper Kupp will go huge.
Whoever
touchdowns.
literally
Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods, either one.
whoever they want to have a big game will have a big game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can throw, like I've said before, Goff can throw to either of those three guys the most if he
Or
wants
Everett.
to.
He likes throwing to Everett
You-
too. In the red
Oh,
zone.
yeah, Gerald Everett's been pretty
You
good.
literally can design a game plan against the Bengals and say, all right, we're getting this guy the ball this week. And you're going to get him the ball because he's going to be open. Because that team is atrocious on both sides of the ball.
Yeah. Abandoned ship. Cincinnati. Abandoned ship.
Everyone jump off.
Everyone jump off. Clean house protocol.
Your Giants go on the road against Detroit. Detroit's a 7-point favorite at home.
Oh, yeah, give me Detroit and the points.
I'm very high on Detroit. Matt Stafford plays exceptionally well.
I could just
at
tell
home.
you're going to pick the Giants.
I'm taking your Giants, and I'm taking your Giants to win outright. I think that screw job in Green Bay has Detroit reeling, and I think that they're pretty upset from that.
I mean, they played a good game against the Vikings. I just think the Vikings were
Lions aren't
there
a
was
bad
bad
team by any
defense.
means.
You
There was
can't
bad
give up
defense.
41 points at home. You can't do that. Like,
But that was bad defense on both sides.
I don't think it's going to get better. I think your Giants.
But I
win.
don't
I
think the
think-
Giants offense
I think the
is
Lions
the
will
answer.
put up points. The Giants' defense looked like shit last week, too, again.
Marv Jones went huge, 3 touchdowns.
I think, yeah.
And I just don't think the Lions' defense is not as bad as that looked. That was really bad, but they don't have a terrible
Yeah, they had
defense
an
by
off
no
game.
means.
It's always going to happen. They had an off game. I mean, the only time where it doesn't happen is the Patriots. They don't have an off game ever, but or at least we haven't seen it this year. Usually we see an off game from the Patriots, but I think now that they have a really good defense, they just don't have an off game.
you're going to see a good Danny Dimes performance this week. That's my
I hope so. I really do.
hot take.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go against you on this. I think Matt Stafford lights it up.
A big Matt Stafford game. Those only come around once every so often.
It's happened
Yeah, no,
couple
he
times
loves
this
like
year,
250,
actually.
2 touchdowns, and an interception like every week.
That's just like his consistent
But
style.
at home, he likes throwing over 350 yards.
yeah, I think he's a good quarterback.
I think it's 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, maybe an interception type game for Matt Stafford.
Oh, yeah, he'll throw a pick.
Big Matt Stafford game, apparently. According to Nolstia.
Yep.
We got
Carry on.
Oakland. He's hurt.
Even more reason why Matt Stafford is going to be throwing. It's going to be Kenny Galladay.
I love Kenny Galladay, though.
Carrion's gonna be out for a couple of weeks, but
Oh,
he should be back.
Antonio didn't know. He's dying right now.
Oakland on the road going to Houston. Houston's -6.5.
Nah.
I'm gonna take Houston in that game.
Yeah, that's a weird one, but I'm going to go with Houston.
Oakland could not stop anyone on defense. I mean, I get you're playing Green Bay, and Green Bay is a great team, but you're also without Devontae Adams, so I would think you would be able to at least not give up 42 points. That seems
Maybe 30.
is-
Sounds reasonable.
Is Josh Jacobs banged up?
he's a little banged up, but he made it through the whole game.
He looks really good.
He has the most yards through 7 games in Raiders history, and that includes Bo Jackson and Marcus Allen. So that's a pretty good.
Is that
good stat.
rookie stats though, or is that?
Yeah, rookie.
Oh, okay,
as a
yeah.
rookie for their first year. So still pretty impressive though. That offense has definitely looked better. I mean, compared to the last year where they could barely move the ball, their offense. You got Waller. Who,
Oh, I agree. Like, imagine if Antonio Brown didn't have like mental issues, that offense could be really good.
You talk about one thing that they need is someone that can stretch the field, and if they had Antonio Brown on that team, that offense would be very, very good.
Which I think Keelan Doss can be that guy. They just haven't developed.
Keelan Doss is actually pretty underrated too, I would say.
And I'm glad they brought him back after Antonio Brown left.
They with the way the AFC is, they got a shot to make a wild card. And that's why the Chiefs have got to be really careful with Mahomes.
The NFL really wants them to make the wild card, considering that they're moving
to Vegas.
Which is why I think they beat Houston this weekend.
Ooh,
I think Houston showed this weekend that they're deflated, and I don't think they come back from it this weekend.
Interesting. I'm still thinking
Will Fuller's still gonna be out, right?
Probably, I think so.
He might be.
He got banged up real bad.
I don't know. It's hard to stop DeAndre Hopkins when he gets going. I think he might be on one this week.
Yeah, and now that Will Fuller's maybe out, I don't know if he will be, but if he is out, even more reason why DeAndre Hopkins is getting all the targets.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Houston.
With the way the Raiders defense looked.
Hopkins, yeah, that's my hot take for the week is Oakland bounces back.
Bills -2 at home against the lowly Eagles. Give me the Bills, and give me the Bills big. I love the Bills in that game.
I'm really big on
the Bills.
Have the Bills
ever played an away game? I feel like they always just play at home.
The Bills do play a lot at home. That is kind of fun.
I feel like they just have long stretches at home all the time.
No, like today, I asked a kid at work who's an Eagles fan, and he goes, "Yeah, we got the Bills this week," and, sounding all droopy because his team just got nailed by the Cowboys last night. I'm like, and I asked him, I'm like, they at home or are they at Buffalo? And he goes, "Yeah, they're at Buffalo." I'm like, really?
They play a lot. It's just weird. I feel like they do play a lot of home games.
the way they structure it, they have long stretches at home. I feel like.
Josh Allen probably gonna tear apart that Eagles secondary like every other quarterback does. Because
it's literally nothing.
It's like toilet paper. It's like you just. Amari Cooper ran whatever route he wanted. Gallup was tearing apart the secondary.
And Amari wasn't 100% either, and he's still.
Bill's got a good receiving core too. I like John Brown a lot, and Cole Beasley.
The Beasles.
Yeah,
Cole Beasley. I love Cole Beasley.
Did John Brown get hurt?
He was questionable going in the game.
I don't think he's hurt.
I started him at my flex this week in fantasy. He got me 19.
What's his name? McDermott, the coach.
I think he's a very good coach.
Very good coach. Very good coach. He's been coaching the defense's ass off the whole season. So
I think he encompasses what Buffalo wants to be, and he's very
smash
and collected.
Blue collar team.
Yep.
Yeah, very very workhorse type.
Round of Bills. Is that what we're going with?
Yeah, round of Bills.
Circle the wagon.
One.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Tennessee -2.5 at home against Tampa Bay.
That's surprising.
Tampa Bay.
To me.
Tampa Bay.
Jameis just had the bad game. They're coming off the bye, and it's going to be a Jameis week.
Bruce Arians is going to have some plays designed this week.
See, that's the thing. That's what surprises me so much about the line, though.
Any game,
I think they're buying into the Tannehill juice.
Really?
I don't know why.
Any game involving Tennessee, I'm just like, eh.
They're the most hit.
Not just like for betting, just like Tennessee.
They're the most hit and miss team. They love coming out one week and shutting a team out, or like playing very well, and then the next week it's like
they'll win like 17-0.
And then the next week it's like, who are you? Where what happened to you?
And we saw what Christian McCaffrey did to them. What about Derrick Henry?
Derrick Henry has been very good this season. To me, surprisingly, because I never bought into the Derrick Henry show. And
I was coming out. I was a big Derrick Henry guy.
I know you were a big Derrick Henry guy. You beat me in fantasy last year.
I think with good coaching and good players around him, he could be very good.
Oh yeah, I mean it's pretty hard to bring a 6'4", 250-pound running back down.
He's very durable and he just runs people over.
Yeah, I
love it.
If I was a defender, I would not want to tackle him. No. I can tell you that much. But
that brings us back Buccaneers.
Saying that, I think it's a higher scoring game. I think Tampa Bay wins like 31-24, 31-21, something like that. Tampa puts up a lot of points this weekend.
Yeah, and Tampa
loves
game.
putting up a lot of points, and I think it happens this weekend too.
Round of Bucks?
Round of Bucks.
Wow.
Yeah, that's easy money.
All right.
I might actually
I'm betting
retire from sports betting just to bet on that game. But then it won't happen. Then the Bucks will lose.
Oh,
so
the Bucks will lose by 50.
I'm not going to jinx it for you guys. You guys can bet all the money you want on it.
San Francisco at home, -5.5 against the Panthers.
I'm still high on San Francisco.
The Kyle Allen experience.
I think McCaffrey doesn't have such a big game, and I think we finally get a glimpse of how good Christian McCaffrey is, and if he has a bad game, nothing goes well for the Panthers.
McCaffrey, all right, here's what I'm going to say. If McCaffrey goes for like 150 and 2 touchdowns and they win the game, I think he vaults to the top of the MVP discussion. If they've won, they would have won 5 games in a row with Kyle Allen in. If he's been great every game, like I would say out of any person that you can point to and say he's making the difference the most on his team, it would be McCaffrey if he has a great game.
I still think he's the MVP. I know Russell Wilson is like the favorite among everyone, but I think right now,
this is a big game for him. I think to put himself in the MVP, the serious
I think
MVP
even if
talk.
he has a bad game and the Panthers going shit, that's even more of a reason why.
This is a really strange game too, because you're talking about the Niners continuing to be undefeated, but then
who would have thought they would be 6-0?
But then you're also talking about the Panthers. They've been hot. When is the spot that they cool down? They're playing one of the top defenses in the league this week.
And when does the spot that
San
Francisco?
This is a tough game to pick.
I'm taking San Francisco.
I'm really on the fence about this one.
All right, I'll give my pick.
So high on McCaffrey.
I'll give my pick. Carolina plus 5.5. Carolina money line.
So
this is the week.
You break the tie.
This is the week that San Francisco shows a.
I love Carolina, but my gut right here, that's my heart. But my body,
my gut and my heart.
My body wants me to belt out San Francisco minus 5.5 right now.
All right, we'll just make a pick, dude.
So I'm just.
We ain't got all night.
We'll stick with that.
All right.
San Francisco.
Yeah, that's.
I think you're right that San Francisco is going to show something at some point, but I don't think it's at home against Carolina.
I think it's this week. I think
it happens on the road against.
And it's going to be another low scoring.
I think
game.
Carolina plays very good run defense, so I think that's going to be kind of their Achilles heel. They're going to make Garoppolo have to throw the ball, and I don't think Garoppolo's going to be able to throw the ball. So that's why I like Carolina.
I think it's a big game from George Kittle.
Ooh,
Garoppolo game.
George Kittle watch. Indy minus 6 at home against Denver. Give me Indy.
Give me Indy.
Yeah.
We don't even need to talk about it. Denver's another one of those teams.
Denver's one of those teams where you just watch them and you're like, what is the point of this team? Like, what?
Why
are you an NFL
Why
franchise?
have they been shit ever since Peyton Manning left?
Because they keep signing guys like Brock Osweiler and Joe Flacco and
just commit to a young quarterback. Like I know they have Drew
like
Lock,
they won a Super Bowl based on their defense. Peyton Manning couldn't throw for that last year.
Literally.
In the playoffs, could not throw, my guy. It's kind of like how Phillip Rivers is now.
Yeah. I don't know. You're right. There's no need to talk about it.
Because he had all that neck problems. He couldn't throw. And then after he left, they shit their pants.
They're just going to continue to
Von
draft
Miller
defensive players still.
Right?
Oh, they love defensive players.
Like, Von Miller still exists, right?
They want to trade him, but I don't know. They literally have no direction. John Elway's not.
Like, we're talking a couple years ago, Von Miller was the guy. Where'd he go?
I don't know. Green Bay minus 5 against Kansas City. No Mahomes. Kansas City's at home.
Yeah, it's in Kansas City, which is a very difficult place to play.
I don't like Kansas City to win, but I like their spread.
You like the 5?
I think actually without Mahomes there, this is actually a very good game. I think, especially if Kansas City's at home, because
I think that's what's going to make this
game's in Green.
This is such a hard game to decide. I don't know who I like.
If this game's in Green Bay, I'm taking Green Bay all the way, but I'm just unsure of how Matt Moore will play.
Matt Moore could come out and look great. I would not be shocked about that either.
No, but I also wouldn't be shocked if he was shit.
Correct.
Because you don't expect him to be good.
I'm going to go with Green Bay minus 5 as much as I don't like that pick. I don't like either pick in that game, but I'll take Green Bay.
Yeah, I like Green Bay to win, but I like the points.
That's a great line.
Kansas City.
That's a great line because it's going to be like a 4 to a 7 point game. So I'm going to take Green Bay, but I don't love it.
Minus 4, you said?
5.
5? Yeah, I'm going to take Kansas City plus 5 just because I think they cover. I think it's a 3-point game. Okay. I think it might get decided by a field goal.
That's your Sunday night football game, by the way.
Yeah. And again, another game with potential to be very good. If Patrick Mahomes is playing, it's locked to be a very good game. But, I mean, if we might get disappointed like we did this Sunday or last Sunday.
Where it's just a blowout.
But,
weirdest game of the week, I want to say, is Steelers minus 14.5. Monday night. Talk about a terrible Monday night football game. Steelers at home.
Well, it was like
Steelers at home against the
it was
Dolphins.
like a couple weeks ago, that Sunday night game with the Chargers and the Steelers.
That
Who
was
wanted
also
to
a
watch
bad-
that?
I don't
No
know.
one wanted
Everyone,
to
like
watch
I feel
that.
like everyone kind of had a feeling the Steelers would win that game, but
I think
no
we
one
always
wanted to
expect
see it.
we always expect the Thursday night game to be shit, but Sunday and
It's
Monday
been
should be at
yeah.
least decent games.
Thursday night games have been pretty good this year for the most part too.
I don't have a real opinion on that. Just give me Pittsburgh. That's all I really have to say about that. I think they're a way better team than Miami because Miami doesn't want to win.
I'm taking Miami plus 16.
14 and a half.
Yeah, 14.
Just too many points.
Too many points. They're both shit. It's just gonna be one of those like 9-6, 12-9
Yeah.
game. Yeah, it's just
They're
gonna
in
be a field goal
Pittsburgh,
battle.
and I think Juju has his first great game of the season.
Well, it's kind of hard not to against that team.
I know. So, give me Pittsburgh, and until Miami shows me something.
I want to hear one quick thought about your Lakers playing tomorrow night.
Play the Clippers. Let's look at the spread
I
here.
think it'd be
minus 3 Lakers.
-3 Lakers. Yeah, give me the Lakers. They don't
I
have.
think it'd be way better if Paul George.
Yeah, I was
was
gonna
playing.
say they don't have Paul George yet. Even though my finals pick is the Clippers, so you can't throw.
You're
that.
going. I forgot about that. You're going against your
Yeah.
own team.
So you can't throw that. Oh, he's picking the Lakers for first game of the season just because he's a Lakers fan. No, I think they you can say what you want about preseason, but I think the Lakers, they had a fun preseason. They had a really good time playing together.
trying very hard in the
Trying
preseason.
very hard, and they're gonna build off that, and they're just gonna want to keep rolling.
So Lakers.
Yeah, I like the Lakers -3.
Should be an interesting opening.
I like the
night.
Lakers too, just for the fact that Paul George isn't playing.
I
And LeBron tends to do very good in openers, so
don't know. I don't have like an opinion about that game. I'm just gonna be excited to watch the NBA.
Maybe a pretty low-scoring game too for tomorrow for
Yeah.
that Lakers Clippers game.
yeah, I
think the
won't
Lakers
watch-
are gonna have a
I
defense
don't really
this year.
watch the NBA. I probably won't watch it, but
And
Yeah,
well,
it's late.
that's the 10:30.
well, I
game.
actually I like staying up to watch games, but
The other game that's on is the Pelicans and the Raptors, which would have been way more exciting if Zion didn't get hurt.
It's so
but
disappointing.
meniscus tear, is that what they said?
yeah, his left knee.
6 to
That's
8
not
weeks.
good.
No,
Like especially before even getting a chance to show yourself.
and I hate to say it, but you're starting to see a pattern with him. His
Knee injury. I mean, the one at the UNC game was a fluke. His shoe.
I
fucking
saw.
his body just can't handle it.
So I saw a
can't handle
video.
how intense and big he is.
I saw a video of a medical professional breaking down like Zion basically, and from what I heard, the way he walks will lead to more injuries down the line because he has
the way he
he has like an abnormal like walking pattern, so like his knees come together when he walks, and that's really bad for injuries. So I don't know, that's definitely not a positive.
The other thing
for
is
him.
like he's not. Don't take this by like me saying he's fat because he's not, but
he's
large.
he's got to shed some weight.
Yeah, he did lose.
And
a
he'll
few
he'll
pounds.
slim out just
And
because
I think
he'll be
6 to
playing
8 weeks
basketball this year. But
6 to 8 weeks is a good amount of time for him to slim down. So
Just get some cardio.
we're not
definitely.
talking like really slim down. He's 280 now. I like him at like 265, like for his career.
Yeah,
And that's what I said earlier, like 15 pounds. But at the same time, how much is 15 pounds really going to matter?
And it's funny because it just showed up on the
on
TV
Sports
too.
Center. Yeah,
Yeah. But like the way he cuts and is so intense under the basket
he puts a lot of
I
pressure.
just wanna
on his
see him
knees.
play.
and how high he can jump, which actually makes me think more how impressive LeBron is with what
Not
he's
being
done
not injured.
and
yeah.
he hasn't been injured. So I guess it's just the weakness in Zion, which no one thought was possible that he would have a weakness, is his knees.
It's already showing.
Yeah, and it sucks that it's that way because he's a special player.
So I think we have one more thing to get to before we're out of here.
What's that?
Pick 3.
Our pick 3.
Do we have a volunteer to go first?
I'll kick it off.
All right, Antonio.
Wait, so we should go over last week. Me and Sal were 2-1. Sal's 5-1 on the season so far, the underdog sports season.
Not bad.
I'm 4-2, and Antonio is
I got a
1-5.
win last week. Pretty confident this week though. So I love the Seattle spread against Atlanta.
Doesn't that feel like a trap though?
It really does.
Oh, they want you to take.
When I
they
start
want you to take Seattle in that game.
When I start thinking like that, that's where things go south.
Yeah.
So After that, I am actually gonna use. Well, let's go to my other one. Tampa Bay. I wouldn't be surprised if this shows up on all of our pick threes. This is the Tampa Bay plus 2.5. And my other one, I'll use San Francisco minus 5.5.
Interesting. Nolan.
No, you go.
All right.
No,
I want to hear yours.
No, you go.
Giants plus 7. I think Daniel Jones shows his.
You're really high on the Giants this time, huh?
This week I really like.
It's
the
probably
Giants.
gonna hit too.
You were high on the Giants last week.
Like he just pulls a team out of his ass every week, and he's like, "I'm telling you,
dude, I'm telling you, they're gonna come out and play."
And then like we ask him why, he's like,
"They're just going to."
They're just going. Sal just has a feeling.
I don't know. I like the Giants this week. They're gonna come out.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with against Antonio, Carolina plus 5.5.
Interesting.
I like McCaffrey's chances to vault the MVP. And I'm going to go against primetime Cousins, and I'm going to say Washington plus 16.
Wow.
Wow.
What, do you think too many points?
Too many points. Case Keenum's going to be mad at the Vikings. I like your revenge narrative. And it's primetime Cousins. You bet against him, you make money. That's what it comes down to.
All right. Let's see. I got Jets plus 4 against Jacksonville.
You're high on the Jets.
I am
this
week just because I'm not impressed with Jacksonville.
You're pissed about them. You're pissed about Jacksonville from the last 2 weeks. You picked them. He picked them to beat the Saints, and then they didn't win. And then he picked them.
No, I picked them to cover against the Saints,
which they
almost did.
They were minus 2.5, right? That week against the Saints,
yeah.
They lost. They lost
by
13-6.
Yeah,
and then you picked the
I'm bad at
Bengals. You picked the Bengals last week against Jacksonville, and then Jacksonville covers. You're chasing the dragon right now.
I am. I'm chasing the dragon, and I think this week I finally captured that bitch. And yeah, I think the Jets bounce back.
All right.
I just think the matchup is there for the Jets to take.
So Jets plus 4.
Jets plus 4. I have Detroit minus 6.5.
7. It's 7 right now.
7. It was 6.5 when I looked like 2 hours ago.
So we're going against each other in that game.
We're going against each other. I disagree. I think Matt Stafford it's Matt Stafford's game, and at home, as history proven itself, he likes to throw the ball at home. Without Kerryon Johnson is even more of a reason to just let it loose. And I think that they have nothing to lose at this point. So I think, they're just going to gun it.
All right.
My third pick, which I don't have and I'm not prepared for. I was thinking about that.
You said you might have bet on it. If you're going to say you might bet on it, you have to take him in your pick.
I'm surprised you didn't take it.
I like
Bay plus 2.5.
I like him a lot, but it
seems too good to be true.
That, and I like the Giants way too much, and the other I really like Carolina, and I really like Carolina. Washington is just a fade Cousins game. That's why I'm taking him. So
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm taking Tampa Bay plus 2.5. Well, I mean, and here's the thing about the Washington game. It's still Washington.
Oh, obviously it's still Washington, but not only do I get to bet against Cousins, I'm also getting 16 points. Like,
I think he's been hot on Diggs the past few weeks. I think Adam Thielen breaks out.
Thielen had a touchdown this week, right?
Yeah, he did.
But I mean, like receiving and like targets and yards wise.
Yeah,
I think he gets more.
All right.
So, don't mean to disagree with you on everything, Sal, but I disagree.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens in these games. Should be an interesting Sunday.
It will be. A lot of interesting games, more interesting storylines to come. Yeah.
More Underdog Sports podcast coming to you.
Exactly.
It's been fun.
We're excited.
All right, guys.
All right. Till next time, gentlemen.